All right, on your screens right now, the pleas challenging the constitutional validity of the abrogation of Article 370. The Constitution Bench, headed by Justice of India, the Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud. Remember, it's been conducting its hearing so far. It has begun the hearing this morning. Take a look.
The province, princes merging into the provinces, and you had these 5 states. All through merger agreements. No exception, except Jammu Kashmir. Because that was not conceived in terms of 370 itself. Now kindly come to 373, Malas. This is also important. PDF 373. 3. Now what in these 5 provinces called the Union of States, what were the kind of notifications issued, Malas? What were the kind of proclamations issued? Your Lordships will find at 373 onwards.
So this 552 was an addition of 216 plus 61 plus 275.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct, Malas. So now if your Lordship comes to PDF 373. Now, you see that Raj Pramukh of Union of Patiala, East Punjab states, Saurashtra, Travancore, Rajasthan, Madhya Bharat, rulers of Hyderabad, Mysore, Jammu Kashmir are published. This is the proclamation. What does the proclamation say? Last paragraph, I now hereby declare. Your Lordship has that? My Lords have that? It says, I hereby declare that the Constitution of India shortly to be adopted by the Constituent Assembly shall be the Constitution for Patiala, East Punjab, as well as other parts of India, and shall be enforced as such. Come to the next one, Malas. Each of them, Malas, had the same proclamation. Each of them. And all that happened prior to 1950. Except Jammu and Kashmir. And you'll find that at 379, Malas.
Sybil.
And see if you...
Mr. Sybil, do you think it would have been a unilateral action, or it was...
Sorry, I can't hear you.
It was an action on its own, or it was something which was the government of India at that time ensured that it happened. Obviously, the government of India ensured that it happened.
There was no question on its own, Malas. It would never happen like that. Some of them couldn't exist independently.
So, yeah, I've understood your argument on that. Can we move on?
Now, Malas, look at PDF 379, because all those proclamations are different from the proclamation Kwe Jammu Kashmir, which is, Malas, 25th November 1950, before, Malas, the 26th January 1949.
The proclamations is the firman of the Nizam as well. The Nizam you find at page 377,
yeah, but the
23rd of November,
but the language is different.
This was certainly not voluntary.
Of course not. Of course not, Malas. I agree. This is what I responded to my Lord. But Malas, the language is different from Jammu and Kashmir.
So, keeping you probably in J&K, keeping at that time the political environment, it was something different.
That's all that I'm saying, Malas.
That's my argument. We have understood that argument.
Yes, and therefore it was incorporated in these terms in the Constitution, which was not done by anybody else. Which only shows to you that merger was never contemplated except in terms of 370. All the others became, Malas, through these proclamations, part of these states, and then became part of B states, Malas. All these states became part of B states. Jammu Kashmir, Malas, were not. It was the only state excluded. from Part B states.
But equally, the proclamation which Yuvraj executed, which you find at page 379,
Yes.
which we have seen earlier,
Yeah.
says that the entire relationship between Jammu and Kashmir and the Union of India will now be governed by the Constitution of India.
Correct.
And all previous understandings
Are gone.
are all superseded.
Absolutely. And see what the language is. The Constitution of India shortly to be adopted shall be insofar as it applicable to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, govern the constitutional relationship. So you go back to that. That is 1 and 370 only, Malak. Nothing more than that. I just wanted to show your Lordships, Malak, because your Lordships put me this question. I think it was a very significant, Malak's query. And they all followed a uniform pattern of integration, other than Jammu Kashmir. And Malak, the white paper also says that the integration of states did not follow a uniform pattern in all cases. You will find that, Malak, at page PDF 46.
Because you have to deal with them differently. All the
Naturally.
I have understood that argument. Today the issue is not this. Today the issue is whether 370 was really a temporary thing and whether in terms of 370 it could have.
I'm giving the historical background to show the difference and why he did not merge, because in the meantime many things had happened, including the matter going to the UN. This all happened prior to this, Malak. Therefore, the question of merger didn't arise. That's the point, Malak.
That has all been argued in your opening arguments.
No, I'm only giving the background to 370, Malak. I'm not arguing it. My Lord put it to me. I'm just giving the background, nothing more. I'm not arguing. I've argued 370, Malak. I'm not arguing, Malak.
Historical background also you are given in your opening argument.
No, not the merger, because my Lord put me the merger agreements. There's a difference between merger agreements in all other states at that time, that is the 552 states, and except for Jammu and Kashmir. That's all, brother. And they have argued merger. I did not argue. Anyway, be that as it may, Malak. Malak, if just one other thing, Malak. Since we are at this, Malak, your Lordships put to me yesterday, and then I'll come back to Malak's the 355. Your Lordships put to me that, look, there is a silence here in the Constitution. Well, I just want to answer that. And I'll read what I have to say on this, so that it's on the record. My first statement is integration was completed when the Constituent Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir completed its task and the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir was adopted on 26th of January 1957. The governing structure comprising the Constitution of India and the Constitution of Jammu Kashmir complement each other, and through the bridge of Article 370. The scheme operated without conflict for 70 years. This very scheme. There was never a conflict. 2. Through this complementary structure, the vast majority of provisions of the Constitution of India are applicable to Jammu and Kashmir in one way or the other. This was the integration meant. Nothing further needs to be integrated. Indian constitutionalism is not bound by a single scheme of legislative relations or any homogeneous understanding of the concept of integration. 3. Article 370, sub-article 3 is not silent. What is my answer to that? It is not silent as to the consequences reflecting the relationship between Jammu and Kashmir and India after the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir was framed.
All right, my colleague Arunima is with us. We're actually going to go over to her for insight into these proceedings right now. We'll continue to show you the visuals on your screen though. Let's go over to her to understand more. Arunima, could you tell our audiences what we're looking at this morning?
One of the petitioners before the Supreme Court is Akbar Lone. Now, what has been pointed out that Akbar Lone has in the past raised slogans in favor of Pakistan, including a slogan that he raised inside the assembly. Then there was the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly, which has been put under suspension. So he has been accused of furthering a quote-unquote separatist agenda by coming before the Supreme Court, challenging the decision to revoke Article 370. He was asked by the Supreme Court to file an affidavit owing allegiance to the Indian Constitution. Kapil Sibal, who was representing him, tried to argue that, he of course owes allegiance, but the court was very clear that if you are coming before the Supreme Court of India, which is the constitutional court, and there are, petitioners from the other side pointing out about how you have brought into disrepute the Indian Constitution, then you can't be heard till you give it in black and white, till you give it, in affidavit form that you do owe allegiance to Indian Constitution. So that is the point of argument that is going on at the moment.
Arunima, thank you for bringing us audience context. Let's go over right now